Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Dopey, aka Oscar. How have you been, my friend?
I've been swell, mate. It's the Easter long weekend here in Sydney. That means...
In the world, yeah.
Well, is it a long weekend in the world?
I believe so, yes.
Well, I
Maybe
can't,
not in Muslim countries.
I can't guarantee that. I'm not sure. In Sydney, I can tell you it is.
Though.
Huh?
It's a Christian holiday.
Yeah, but they might not do public
It's
holidays.
about Jesus dying, resurrecting.
True.
So,
But for me, it's about bunnies and chocolate, so...
Yeah. Is it?
It is.
What's your, go-to chocolate? I mean, this is a bit off-brand, but what is your go-to chocolate? Brand?
Cadbury.
It's really basic, isn't it?
But it's the best.
Probably the most basic bitch answer
Well,
you could have given.
If it's not Cadbury, you're just weird.
No. You just don't know.
What's yours,
chocolate.
Lindt?
No, I wouldn't go Lindt. That's another basic brand. I'd go Hague's. If you know, you know.
Everyone knows, hey, it's just expensive for no reason.
It's not for no reason.
It is.
They fucking... I don't know what they do to it. It's just fucking unreal. And
Really?
then Galaxy as well. Great chocolate. English, but great chocolate.
What is that, a Mars bar?
No, it's like Galaxy. It's like an English brand of chocolate. It's similar to their version of Cadbury, but it's better.
Right.
But yeah, that's my top two. But yeah, Easter's a great holiday. The main thing is, not for us because maybe we work. Our work situation's a bit different from most. But if you got a regular 9 to 5 or you're a tradie or whatever, this is the prime time. This is the prime time of the year. I mean, it's a long
Anzac
weekend
Day as well.
into Anzac Day, yeah.
Crazy. 3-day working week.
Well, yeah, you can take 3 days off essentially and get 2 weeks. So there you go, a life hack for you. Anyway, do you want to kick off with the NBA?
Yeah, we can start with the NBA. The playoffs have started. Yesterday, the first slate of games happened, and today the second slate. So after today, all game ones will be concluded, and we'll get we will have a little bit of an understanding about how the series is going to play out. Obviously, a lot of people say game one, you can't really take much from it. It's a bit of a feeling out game. I tend to disagree. I feel like you can get a good understanding of how the series is going to go from game one. But yeah, we can sort of preview each series. Quickly touch on the play-in. Did you watch any of the play-in?
I did, yeah. Not really surprising any of it. I expected the Mavs to win the first game. I think the Kings were so done. And then, yeah, you'd think maybe the Mavs might upset Memphis in that second playoff, but yeah, Memphis just over. It was the funniest game just watching. You see all the camera pans to Nico.
Yeah, just
like the side eye that he gave him as well. As soon as AD got injured, you could tell the camera was on him.
Yeah, he knew what was up. He knew he was cooked. But my takeaway from the play-in is that I just hate it as a format, to be honest.
I felt like the consensus is the opposite. I think
I know.
Are
I feel like it might be controversial, but I just hate the play-in. I'd like to see it just go back to top 8 seeds make the playoffs. I don't think it's fair when a 10th seed that has a terrible regular season can make the playoffs. I feel like there needs to be more weight in the regular season. And if Memphis didn't make it, for example, I don't think that would have been fair. I think they deserve to be in the playoffs. Although they've finished the season not the best, they did still have a good regular season with a record above 500, so they should, in my opinion, make the playoffs. And it just feels weird to me that you can be a bad team but get rewarded with postseason basketball. 20 out of 30 teams are playing in the postseason. That seems crazy to me.
No, I get that. I think it's just a case of you want to give... I like it because it gives the playoff teams rest. And it therefore makes the star players better in the playoffs. Yeah,
but not the 7-8 seeds. They just get slaughtered.
Yeah, but when don't they get slaughtered? Would Memphis be any... Would Memphis have gotten any better or gone any better against OKC if they would have played 3 days ago?
Well,
no.
Ja probably wouldn't be injured.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I mean that's just if buts and maybes. I think, yeah, I think OKC is going to terrorize anyone. I think the top 2 seeds in both conferences are going to terrorize the play-ins, and that's just how it is, and that's just the nature of it. I think it kind of weeds out. I like it because it weeds out the stronger teams towards the end of the season. You could tell, so teams like Sacramento in the middle part of the season were really on a run and doing well. and there's different teams at different times that do well. And Memphis is a prime example, even though they've made it. It's a situation where they started the season well and then just completely fell off a cliff. But having the play-in game, it sort of pushes teams that are kind of playing well into that role. And the two best teams. And look, it's a one-off game, so you never know. But yeah, I just feel like it's not a bad system, and it, like I said, it gives rest to the good teams, so they can sort of spar against each other.
Yeah, but I also do find myself going, I've just got to wait a week for the playoffs now, rather than, we've got a week of, playing basketball. I don't know why, but I'm not a fan of it at all at this point. The only reason I would be in favour of it is if my team was in it and managed to make the playoffs due to it existing. But other than that, I really don't care for it, to be honest.
Okay.
But okay, we can move on to the series. Do you want to start out west or east?
Start west.
West, okay. So the first series, obviously this will be a quick preview. OKC versus Memphis.
That's a cheeky little 4-0 right there.
Cheeky little 4-0. Memphis look diabolical. I don't know if it's just OKC are that good, but
Shea was horrendous and they won by 55 points or something. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you fire your coach. So
yeah, I think look, OKC have been doing this to teams all year, and the real question is, I don't think anyone question if they get past round 1, but the real question is when they get to round 2 and they get to round 3, and if they get to the finals, are they able to climb the good teams multiple times?
Are they able to climb them?
Climb them, yes, physically.
Wow.
No, if they're able to beat them multiple times, and that's the main question with them, because we know they can beat down on mediocre to shit teams, but you've just got to see what they do against the top team. So yeah, this is a complete write-off of a series. Yeah,
they look good though, so shout out to them. I'm sure they'll fucking take heaps of credit out of this. Now we can move on to the 2-7 Houston Golden State, one of the more interesting first round matchups.
Is it?
I think it is. I don't know about you, but I'm probably picking Golden State in this series. I just favour experience in the playoffs over youth. Houston, I don't know. This is their first time this team's been in the playoffs. I don't think they made it last year. And I think they only finished, 4 wins ahead of Golden State, even though it's a 2-7 matchup. And Golden State were the second best team in the league or in the conference post All-Star break. Yeah. So, Jimmy Butler's proven in the playoffs. Steph Curry is obviously a god in the playoffs and in general. So I would favour them over a Jalen Green and a Sengun and a Fred VanVleet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Houston are the better team. And I think you're giving a bit too much credit to the Warriors. They, especially their key player, apart from Jimmy's looked good, but the rest of them...
Steph's looked good.
Has he?
Yeah.
I feel like he's looked really tired. Really tired. He's had that finger
issue.
He
had 35 and 36 in the last 2 games.
He's had that finger issue. And I think they're a team that I feel... Look, they may win this series, but they just seem like a team that's any minute going to break down. Just because of their age. And you can have all the experience in the world, but if your body cannot hold through the intensity of that playing game that they played and then go on the road to start off 2 games away, I just think it's a bit sort of... You can't take into account the experience too much, in my opinion. I think you've got to look at all the assets. I mean, when the Warriors first won their chip, they had 0 experience.
No, they'd made the playoffs the year before.
And lost.
Exactly.
First round. But you've got to... But they went from a first-round exit to...
Yeah, this is Houston's first-round exit.
You think this is Houston's first-round exit?
Well, I think Game 1 for this series, more than any other, is vital that Houston win, because I can see if they lose Game 1, they lose their heads a little bit and go, shit, we actually don't belong here, and they get overawed, and then Golden State sort of steamroll them throughout the series. But if they can take Game 1, get some confidence, feel like they actually do belong, then I can see it going 6-7 games. But I would say the importance of Houston winning today is a lot higher than any of the other teams.
Okay. No, I don't hate that. Look, it's a closer series than a 2-7 would indicate. But yeah, I'm still picking Houston probably, and I'd go 7. I think it could be a 7.
Yep, I'd go Golden State in 6. I'd say at this stage. Moving on, the main event, Lakers Timberwolves. Obviously, the first game yesterday doesn't need to be spoken about.
It doesn't?
Well, it does.
Oh, great. We'll move on.
Yeah, so worrying signs, I guess you'd say, from game one.
You'd say, yeah.
Yeah. Look, Jackson Hayes fooled us. He actually is a scrub. Now, I thought maybe we could get by with him, but no, it turns out we have 0 centres, and it is kind of hard to win a championship without a functioning centre. Naz Reid slaughtered us yesterday. We had absolutely nothing for him off the bench. McDaniels as well killed us. Ant didn't have a great game. Rudy Gobert sucked. He's always going to suck, but he's still one of the better players on paper. Randall didn't have a good game, and they destroyed us. You know what I mean?
The most blatantly obvious thing I felt was in that first half, the offensive rebounds. I mean, it was criminal. I mean, watching that was the worst game Austin Reeves has played in a long time. Time. He got bullied on every offensive rebound. He was bricking shots left, right, and center. LeBron looked old. It was probably the worst you've played and the least confident I've been in the Lakers since the Luka trade. And it does raise a few eyebrows, this matchup. And does it suit, going into it, you thought, maybe it suits you well because you'll be quicker than them. And, they have an ultra big lineup. You have an ultra small lineup. How's that who's going to come out on top? And it's looking like Minnesota, rebounding wise, is just going to absolutely dominate. And when you have guys like Naz Reid who stretch the floor like he can, you've got so many options offensively once you grab that offensive rebounds, and you've got hustle. Like, it's not just they've got height. Jalen, is it Jaden?
Jalen or Jaden? One of the two.
I'm going to go Jaden.
It's Jaden, I think.
Jaden McDaniels, he's not the biggest guy in the world. He looks a bit skinny, but
it's like 6'8".
He's a hustler, and they've got a bunch of scrappy guys on that team. It's just a case of, can the Lakers get in the trenches? And look, offensively, you saw Luka still scored the ball well, especially in the first half. But it's going to be tough to see if the Lakers can really just dig in and not be a sort of, the flashy team and sort of grab those offensive rebounds, grab their own offensive rebounds and get their own defensive rebounds.
Yeah. And we're going to have to need more from the other guys. Rui, we need more from him. He got sat in his ass. Pathetic performance from him. Jared Vanderbilt, the guy is probably the worst offensive player in the league. But
every time I see him, he's shooting a corner three. But
Vanderbilt?
He misses.
Well, he missed about 4 open layups yesterday. He got rebounds and kicked it out for 3, so it made up for it. But he's just so bad offensively. I mean, Finney Smith, we need him to be hitting threes, realistically, if we're going to be any chance. And he didn't yesterday.
Your glue guys didn't step up. Austin Reeves, the third guy who's been playing like an all-star, didn't step up. Dorian Finney-Smith, who's been knocking down, being really reliable from 3, again, did nothing. So, you need your glue guys to step up, both from a shooting perspective, but also from a hustle perspective as well.
Yeah, so in saying that, my prediction for the series is Lakers in 5.
What's the recent one that he did? Was it Divorce Court? It's like Divorce Court, Lou Dort, Lakers in 5.
But did he do it one for Minnesota? I don't think he's done one.
I don't know. I just see those memes everywhere. And it's just cuts to LeBron just fucking having a mix or doing a dunk package.
Do.
Yeah.
Hit me with a rollie.
No, I'm going Timberwolves in 6.
Nice. Love the confidence there.
It was startling. It's probably the most startled out of the first round teams that I've been. I thought the Lakers at home.
Well, apart from Memphis, but.
Yeah, but did anyone expect Memphis to win? I think most
people I didn't expect them to lose by 70.
Yeah. I thought the Lakers would at least, make it a game. I mean, they got blown out at home.
Well, yeah, and the first quarter we looked like it was going to be an easy dub, we were just cruising ahead, and then Naz Reid came on and just literally hit 5 threes in a row from nowhere. Nobody decided to close out on him, so yeah, ever since that moment we just got destroyed. It is worrying because they're just deep. I mean, DiVincenzo coming off the bench, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we don't have players that can go with those guys. So yeah, very worrying. But anyway, still Lakers in 5. Moving on. This was probably the only close game so far in the playoffs. Nuggets Clippers. Probably
Shocker.
the most.
Absolute fucking shocker. How many close playoff games can we lose? There's got to be a record for it. I mean, surely. The icing on the cake was Russ hitting the fucking three to win the game for them. I mean, that's just criminal. When was the last time he hit a three? I mean, and he
hits them periodically, but normally he's losing games for the Nuggets in unlosable situations. But
I've said this many times about the Clippers. They always find a way to lose in the key moments, and that's what the playoffs is most of the time. Especially when you get down to the crunch games and the good teams play the good teams. It's about winning key moments, and the Clippers historically have not been able to do that, especially over the past, 10 years. Before that we weren't even in the playoffs. So, this Clippers team, it's just expected at this point. They find a way to throw a bad pass, when you're up by 2 with 2 minutes left, and it leads to a trailing 3. I don't know. There's moments in games that we just give it up, and I watched the game periodically yesterday, but even I just knew it was coming, especially when it was a tight game, and it went to OT, and I was like, we're going to lose this game because we've done it historically. And look, the Nuggets have come out the other end of a lot of those games, especially, you look at Russ, he's not the most efficient guy in the world anymore, but he's still a clutch player. Like, he has hit a lot of clutch shots in his time, made a lot of clutch plays. So yeah, they've just got too many veterans on that team, and look, we've got veterans, but they seem to miss every time. So what can you do?
Well, I wouldn't say it's all hope lost. You lost in overtime, should have won the game. I think it'll be a 7-game series pending health. Obviously,
that's what most people are saying. But if you can pick up games like that's how you win a series in 6, and get to the next round. But the Clippers have always found a way to be in every contest, but lose 70% of them, and then they'll have one blowout loss, like you do. Every team has one blowout loss in a series, and then all of a sudden you're either 3-1 or 3-2 down, and you're climbing back, and you're trying to scrape through, and try and get it in 7. And yeah, the Clippers are. You may be optimistic, but many times against Dallas. We've beaten Dallas a couple of times, but there's many teams that we just frustrating. We always drop these games, especially early on in a series, and it's a killer.
But that's just welcome to playing the Nuggets, really. I can speak from experience the last couple of years. You'll probably be winning 90% of the series in terms of scoreboard time during the matches, but you'll get swept. And that's just how the Nuggets play. They break your hearts.
Yeah, we did blow a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets in the bubble.
Yeah, there's just, Jokic is the ultimate clutch player. Jamal Murray,
clutch as well.
Different guy in the playoffs. They don't have a coach. Maybe that will hurt them. But you don't really need a coach if you have Jokic, let's be honest. Just give him the ball.
Can't argue that one.
So, yeah, but it's still... I would not be surprised if the Clippers still won the series from here, but...
Yeah, well, you got to come back from it, and that's the main thing. You can't relish on games that you lose like this, so you've got to just go out and think, look, if we can split the series away, then we can try and, get a 3-1 lead at home and try and, get in front. If we win this next game, we're technically in front in the series, and that's the main thing.
Exactly right. So, fingers crossed for the boys, Hopefully they can get it done.
Look, Clippers in 7, I'll go.
Clippers in 7, okay. I'll go Clippers in 7 as well. I just want to see, finally we get Lakers Clippers. I think this year's the year.
I don't think it is. I don't think we're getting past Thunder, even if we do. But anyway.
All right, we'll move out east. The 1-8 matchup, Cavaliers versus the Heat. The Heat, just the kings of the play-in tournament. They're just guaranteed to get out of that thing every year.
Yeah, they were the 10th seed, weren't they?
Yeah, the first ever 10th seed to make it out. So congrats to them. And
even
they will now be
Jimmy,
swept.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even without Jimmy. That game's currently going on at the moment. Cavs are up 10 in the third or in the fourth. So, looks like it's going to be 1-0 Cavs. Probably going to be 4-0 Cavs.
It'll be Cavs in 5, probably.
5. Maybe you give them a game just from Spoelstra. But, yeah, the Heat, they're a lackluster team at this point.
Yeah. you've been high on them. I mean, obviously the last couple of years they've been in the playing tournament. Every time you've been high on them and saying they're the dark horse.
Yeah, just because of Jimmy though.
And yeah, now they don't have Jimmy, so it's just a case of will they be the dark horse? No, I don't believe so either. I think it'll be a gentleman's sweep, as they say.
Yeah, Cavs. Like the Cavs, even though they're the 1 seed and they won 63 games or whatever it is, I'm still not scared of them in the playoffs. Really, they still seem harmless to me. Okay. Like I would say, Boston would destroy them.
I think it's tough. I think that's tough.
Like I think Boston will win in 6.
They've had a lot of good regular season games against the top. I know obviously it's not the same. It's not the same, but they've had some really good battles with the top teams in the NBA. So I wouldn't put it past them to even. I mean, look, they might not win, but they'll take it to a 7 games or a 6 games.
Well, that'll more than likely be the conference final. So we shall soon find out. But we can move on to 2-7, which is Boston Orlando. This is Memphis OKC territory. This is
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it's still a tough watch. Boston in 4.
Yeah, but Orlando was leading at the half. It wasn't just.
Well, Tatum was terrible. Brown wasn't good.
Yeah,
Porzingis was scored 1 field goal, I think.
Yeah, no, I think the Celtics will win in 5.
5, really? Give me Orlando a game.
I think. I think they got Paolo. They've got Wagner. They've got a lot of guys that can.
Wagner.
That I'd pay homage to his German Deutschland, as they say. Yeah, I think with those guys, especially, there'll be a home atmosphere. They'll probably do it on the 4th game. They'll probably be losing 3-0, and then be like, fuck it, let's just actually play hard for once. And then the Celtics will just drop their heads and be like, we'll just go back home. So yeah, it'll be a market here. 5,
okay. I'm going to say they're going to sweep them comfortably. But yeah, not much to talk about in that series. It's really not competitive. We can move on to New York, Detroit. It's probably a slightly more competitive series based on the first game. Detroit are kind of the grit and grind sort of team in the NBA at the moment. Lots of hated players, Isaiah Stewart and the like. But yeah, New York, obviously great atmosphere. You see them in the streets yesterday after the win?
No, I didn't.
No?
What happened?
Well, they just, when they have those videos where they're like, fuck Trae Young.
Yeah.
They did that, but with Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Detroit have a chance in this series. I think this is one that I'm kind of mailing in already. I think.
Really?
Even though Detroit was up, and it took, 21 straight points from the Knicks, I just think they're way super. And I think the Knicks will break down in round 2, but they're just the far superior team.
Really? I think Detroit can win a couple games.
Do you?
I do.
I think they can win 1.
I mean, the Knicks are not that great. Their record against the top teams has been discussed all year. I don't think they've won a single game against the top teams.
But the Pistons aren't that, though.
No, but it just shows that New York aren't in that sort of elite category where they can just shut out a team. You know what I mean? And again, the question with Thibodeau teams every year is what happens when someone goes down in the playoffs or they just get tired because they're playing 50 minutes every night.
Yeah, I think it'll prepare them well for round 1 because, they're used to playing those heavy minutes. But, I think when it gets deeper into the playoffs, you've seen in the past, it kills.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're seeing Brunson already struggle with his ankle. But, yes, I would still pick Knicks to win 5 or 6, but I think a more competitive series, at least game-wise. The final series in the East, Indiana, Milwaukee. I feel like Indiana and Milwaukee have played each other every year for the past 3 years. Indiana win the first game, obviously, a bit of a blowout. The Bucks really don't have much other than Giannis.
Well, no, they got your boy, the most improved player.
Kuzma. He is the most improved.
Yeah,
regular season player.
Turning into Tony Snell right before our eyes.
Tony Snell, yeah. Look, that was 3 or 4 years. When was that? I said that 4 years ago, maybe.
You thought he was most improved
when
player?
He was on the Lakers, so it was that long ago.
No, but yeah, I think there was another player that got a dud. Another one of your favourite
Torian. Well, it's just Darvin Ham and his boys. Just
chilling. But yeah, it's a one-man show in Milwaukee, and I don't think Dame's not going to be back for this series, is he?
I heard he's back next game.
Really?
Or game 3.
Okay.
So
Makes
if
it more
he
interesting.
plays, it's a bit
I
more
think he'll be
interesting.
Pacers in 7, though. I think they'll probably win the next game, and then Dame will come back, and then but they're too far ahead. And
Yeah, the Pacers they're just such a mid team, but they'll beat you if you're not that good. Like I really don't rate Halliburton as a top level NBA player. Siakam's good, but he's not great. Miles Turner's good, but not great.
we haven't acknowledged the biggest factor, though. That is Doc Rivers.
Well, yeah.
And his inability to do anything in the playoffs should be taken into account here.
It should, but
I mean, the guy is a professional loser.
he is, and Darvin Ham's by his side.
Yeah.
The dynamic duo. But
I mean, what brainiac put those two together and thought
who
it'd be a good idea?
who is the Bucks owner or GM? Who
I don't know.
he just doesn't show his face.
Yeah.
The opposite of Nico Harrison.
Yeah. Honestly, it'd be the worst GM in the league if it wasn't for Nico Harrison. I mean, that is the dumbest decision I've ever... I mean...
Yeah. Well, when you go from literally winning the title, being essentially a lock for a top 2 seed every year to, scraping the playoff... Not scraping, but having to fight to make the playoffs and then really struggle to even get out of the first round. You've essentially wasted a Giannis's prime there, who's a top, 15 player all time, probably by the end of his career.
Yeah. It does feel like his career's kind of gone... I think he's just become underrated again. I think he's just become, not as in the spotlight because of how sort of...
Well, he was the finalist for the NBA Awards got announced today, and he was third in MVP.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So
people recognise him.
But I agree. I don't think anyone talks about him anymore, but he's still, just top 3 in the league.
Yeah. And it's a shame. I think, they've failed Giannis, and, I mean, they've done many dumb things. I mean, trading away Drew Holiday. I know you're getting Dame, but trading away Drew Holiday was... Oh, letting him... Did they trade him or just let him go?
They traded him. To Boston.
Yeah.
Diabolical.
Dumb. And then, I mean, sacking their head coach after when they were the number 1 seed. I mean, who does that? Is that... I know...
Well, it's obviously a trending thing to sack coaches when you're doing well.
Yeah, but
it's
the Nuggets and the Grizzlies were flailing. I mean, they were
top 4 seeds.
The Grizzlies were on the... I mean, they were getting cooked. But, I mean, you're the first seed, and I think they're the best record in the NBA, and they just... Yeah. Nah, he's not doing it. He's not doing a good enough job. All the players don't like him that much. Well, fucking boo-hoo. You're number 1 seed. And you go out and hire Doc Rivers as... I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But, yeah, I'll go Pacers in 7.
Yeah, I'd love to see Milwaukee win just for Giannis and Dame to have some success.
I don't want Doc to win.
Well, see, I don't have this disdain for Doc. He obviously didn't coach my team, but...
He didn't ruin 2 elite teams for you. No. Yeah.
So, I don't have that disdain, but I can definitely acknowledge his inability to function as a head coach everywhere he's been, apart from a super team in Boston. But, yes, I'm going to go with Milwaukee in 7 just... because I'd rather see them win. Again, Indiana they don't excite me whatsoever. I don't have any excitement to watch Indiana Pacers play a basketball game. I'd rather watch Giannis and Dame. So for that reason, I'm going to go with them. But yeah, I think that's pretty much an early wrap of what we see for each of these playoff series.
4-5 seed.
That was 4-5.
4-5, okay.
Yes, that was all of them.
That was all. Yeah, who do you think's coming out? Who do you think's winning it all after the initial games?
After Lakers, I'd say... Look, OKC looked incredible. But I've been hating on them all year, so I can't go with them now.
No.
So,
God, no.
Boston. It has to be Boston. They've got to be favourites.
I don't hate it. Have you seen the guy with the Boston tattoo?
No.
Because you know how last year someone did a 2024 champions for Boston, like the banner?
I'm sure a lot of people did that.
Well, they did it before,
Ah.
like when the season started. Yeah, another guy got it. So
for 25,
yeah. So apparently, good luck.
but not the same guy.
No. Or it might have been. I don't know. I didn't really look into it too much. But anyway, that's a bit of NBA chat. Good little chat. Hopefully, Clippers can bounce back. Clippers and Lakers can bounce back, so we can finally get that well overdue Lakers-Clippers series. I don't think there's ever been a Lakers-Clippers series.
No, not that I know of.
Which is crazy. Especially, I mean, look, the Lakers are being a bit fucking up and down, but...
The Lakers have been up and down.
No, but I mean in terms of getting in the playoffs consistently.
The Clippers are one of the worst franchises in NBA history.
They've been in the playoffs like 11 straight, like 11,
yeah, but
12
what about
years.
what about the previous 50?
I'm not saying that we're a great franchise. I'm just saying that it's a shock that two teams in the West haven't played each other when they've been in the playoffs for the majority of that time.
It
Almost
is
rigged. NBA. It's rigged.
Well, it's not rigged.
The Mavs are going to get Cooper.
It was all set up for the bubble until you guys bottled it. But
nah, PG couldn't live away from his family, bro. He couldn't live in that fucking 5-star resort. It was hard on him. You got to.
It was hard for him.
Hard for him.
It was really
the
tough
meals
for
were
him.
shit. Fuck, it was terrible. 5-star.
I mean, yeah, like they were delivered to his door in cardboard.
Yeah, he couldn't go to any strip clubs. He just couldn't do it.
Well, he's got a wife, so I'm sure he doesn't do that.
Where did he find his wife?
Did he find her in a...
She was a stripper.
Really?
Yeah.
She was a stripper?
Yeah.
Oh my God, okay. I never knew that. There you go.
And then, yeah, Harden loves a strip club. I mean...
Harden loves a strip club, that's well known.
At the time, though, to be fair. Lou Will does. And, yeah, I think it was just a combination of that. No strip clubs that they could go to. It was just...
You reckon Kawhi likes them?
Yeah, I've seen a video of him in the strip club.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
we're just a team that loves a strip club. And when you can't go to the strip club, I mean, how are you going to get your juices flowing? How are you going to get mentally prepared for the game? And I think that's what you get down to.
Well, it's like in boxing, they say you can't like blow your load the week before the fight or something.
It's a bit rough.
Like semen retention helps you apparently. But like in basketball, it's the opposite, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to be going ham, as I say. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I think we should. Do you want to touch on a bit of the F1? Was it this morning?
This morning, yes. Oscar Piastri gets another win.
I did not watch. What time was it on?
3 a.m.
Yeah, I did not watch. Bit shocking. I mean, Verstappen obviously wins quali, and then Piastri wins. I mean, did you watch?
I didn't watch. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. I'm not that dedicated. But I watched the KO
Oscar
Mini.
well.
What?
Your name's literally Oscar, bro.
It is. I
You should
know.
be the biggest Oscar Piastri fan out there.
I know. Well, Oscar. Yeah, there is an Australian Oscar that is doing really big things in the world right now.
You literally hate more
And
than
it's not the
anyone.
guy holding the mic. Or is it?
It could be.
But
to break it to you guys.
yes, to break down the race, Verstappen was on pole, Piastri second. It was basically lost for Verstappen in the first lap, where Piastri essentially beat him off the line, got to the corner first. Verstappen went off the road to keep the lead. It didn't give the place back, and then they gave him a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, I did see that.
So Piastri, after the pit stops, Piastri just ended up in front, obviously, with the 5-second penalty, and then that was the race pretty much.
Oh, so it wasn't... Yeah, it was a pretty boring race.
Yeah, I mean, Lando went from P10 up to P4, did he finish, or P5? So he sort of saved it a bit. But Lando he's a bit of a fraud at this point.
He's not a fraud.
Well, Oscar Piastri's just got the championship lead after 3 races.
I think he's a very good driver.
Well, yeah, Lando's definitely not number 1 anymore. There's none of that.
I think there's
You can't have driver preference to someone who's losing to the other one.
No, but I don't think he's I mean, Oscar won the last 2 races. Like, he could just be in better form than Lando right now.
Well,
like Lando, was a better driver the first couple of races over Piastri.
But this is the thing with Lando, is he's inconsistent. Oscar Piastri, I think, will win the Drivers' Championship from here because he's always the same, which is very good. Lando has one race where he's the best driver on the grid, and then the next race he'll put it in the wall in qualifying and he'll be starting 10th. And that's why I don't think he's going to win the championship. He may have more raw pace than Oscar, but He doesn't have the consistency for mine to win the championship.
I think it's too early to gauge that, though. I think last year he was the better out of the two.
Barely, and that was like Oscar's first year.
Yeah, but Lando's also young, and it's the first time in an actual competing car. So I think
he's not that young.
He is young.
He's like 27.
No, he's not.
He's been in F1 a long time.
No, he's been in F1 like 3 years.
What? He was in McLaren when Alonso was.
Yeah, he was like 19. Why do you have your ringer on, by the way?
I don't know.
Really annoying.
Sorry, bro. Lando Norris is 25.
Okay, yeah.
Turning 26.
You could basically say he's 30 at that point, yeah. He's turning 30.
Yeah. So, he's not young. Oscar's younger than him.
Yeah. But I still think he's a young driver. I mean, he's a very talented driver, and I think you got to have a bigger sample size. I just think for this year, you can't just judge.
Well, look, see, I don't need the sample size.
Lando had the better start. Oscar's had the better last 2 races. You can't judge it off that. You can't have recency bias.
It's not recency bias.
It is.
It's years of Lando's career bias.
Yeah, but his car was crap for the majority.
But that's just what Lando does. He does it. He's done it his whole career. Even last year, when they weren't in contention necessarily, but he was up and down. When he potentially, remember, with about 10 races to go, people were saying, "Oh, maybe Lando can make a push at the championship," and then he never got close because he was up and down and still wasn't gaining points on Verstappen because Verstappen was consistently getting P2, P3, P2, P3. You know, where Lando goes P1, P6, P1, P6. So that's the story of Lando's career, and that's why Oscar Piastri is going to win the chip.
Is it?
Or Verstappen. I think Lando will finish probably 3rd in the Drivers' Championship.
Oh, yeah. I think it'll be 2 McLarens in the top 3. I don't hate that shot. I actually do think Oscar probably will win.
Which would be insane.
It would be. But I think
First Aussie to do it.
I think people are not thinking of Verstappen too much when they should. I think he won qualifying.
Yeah, he's undoubtedly, for mine, the greatest driver of all time.
Really?
Yeah. The fact that he's putting that car on pole is insane. Yuki Tsunoda is in 10th.
Or 8 straight driver.
In a rocket.
Was he the only one in the rocket?
No.
But, I mean...
he was barely beating Bottas.
He dominated the sport.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah, because his car was dominating the sport.
You can't just say it's the car. Yeah, I mean,
it's a combination.
You could have said that about Verstappen.
It's a combination. Lewis Hamilton is probably the 3rd greatest driver of all time.
The gulf between Verstappen's Red Bull over the past 3 years compared to the rest of the field, when Lewis was in his elite Mercedes days compared to the rest of the field, it's greater. That difference is greater for the Red Bull.
For 2 of those years, yeah, I'd say so. Last year, definitely not. But for 2 of those years, yeah, you could say that. But this year is showing when Red Bull are not the fastest car.
But he's not winning.
He's pretty damn close.
Oh, yeah, pretty damn close.
He's putting it on pole.
I'm not saying he's not an elite driver and the best driver in the sport. Obviously he is, but he's not. I mean, to compare him to, the greats, the Schumachers, the Lewis. I mean, it's a bit early.
It's not a bit early. He's won 4 championships at like 25 years of age. Schumacher, I think he won 6.
How many did Lewis win?
7.
Yeah, there's not.
This is not the Jordan LeBron thing, right? This is not a ring debate.
But my point is, they all had rocket ships, and you could argue that Verstappen, for the majority of the time that he won those championships, had a better rocket,
but in F1, the best way to quantify how good you are is how you're going against your teammate, because that is the only person who's in the same car as you.
You can't compare fucking Prime Bottas to fucking Checo.
How do you know?
Are you really doing
I'm
that?
saying...
What about was it Rosenberg? Rosberg. Are you comparing Rosberg to fucking Checo in...
Well, Rosberg beat Lewis, so...
Yeah, I mean, Rosberg was a great driver. you can't just say that... You can't compare, like, Lewis's teammates, because Lewis had far superior teammates than Verstappen had. I mean,
yeah, but
maybe early...
Well,
Danny
did he?
Danny Rick, but he didn't win when Danny Rick was in the team.
But, I mean... if Checo was in that Mercedes instead of Bottas,
No.
would Bottas be that much better? I don't know.
I think Bottas is a better driver, or was at least.
But I mean, when you're beating your, sure, Tsunoda doesn't have the runs on the board. We probably can't say he's as good as those guys. But when you're beating him by a second in a lap in the same car, that shouldn't be happening as a Formula One driver.
No,
that should be impossible.
Okay. Well, look, I agree to disagree. When's the next race?
I think there's 2 weeks off. Well, 1 week off, so it's 2 weeks away.
Okay.
But yeah, the championship battle is alive between obviously Oscar and Lando, but Max. So it's looking like it's going to be a 3-way driver battle. The constructors is a wrap. McLaren's obviously got that because Red Bull have one car. But yeah, Ferrari and Mercedes largely disappointing, to be honest. Lewis has looked really slow.
That was
I don't want to say washed, but
yeah, I think a lot of people hype that move up over and I'm the biggest Lewis fan out there, but I was like, well, didn't look that great last year. Is he going to be better than Sainz? Probably not. I mean, fucking hell. He's a step away from retirement. I don't think that just because you move to Ferrari, and Ferrari do not have the best car. So is he going to get the best out of, is he going to do a Verstappen at Red Bull? No. So yeah, it's just a case of, if Lewis can climb back, and I don't think he will. I think he'll hang around the 6-7 for probably the season.
Yeah, which is, disappointing to see. You would have liked to see Ferrari be a little bit better. But their car clearly isn't good enough. Leclerc is, although he's doing better than Lewis, he's still not in contention for race wins. He's getting P4, and that's the best they can do. So Ferrari just off the pace. Mercedes as well. George Russell's done pretty well, to be fair to him. I think he's come third in like every race, or third or fourth. So he's picking up the most points he can for the car that he's in. But again, Mercedes just off the pace as well. So a little bit disappointing that those two cars aren't in the mix. But still, it's better than Verstappen just winning every single race by 2 laps. So you got to just be happy with what you get sometimes.
No, at least it's shaping up to be a lot better of a competition. So that's all you can hope for. Do you want to touch a bit on the Volk?
The Volk.
The
Volk.
Bringing it back home.
The great. Look, you could say, did I predict this 2 months ago when the fight got announced, that we'll have 2 Aussie UFC champions in the space of 2 months?
Do we?
Yes, I did predict this. No, we might, because Jack's fighting next month.
That's what I was going to say. Did we? I don't think we've got it 2 yet.
Look, we will. If Volk was the risky one. And that was a risky fight. We can break down the fight. Scary fight. Diego Lopez is a savage. He's a Terminator.
You've just repeated what... That's all they fucking... John Anik, all they fucking says is, he's a savage.
Is that what they say?
That's all they say about him.
Well, great minds think alike.
Just because he's got a stupid haircut doesn't make him a savage.
But he is. He's a beast. He just walks forward, has an insane chin, and just has dangerous stand-up, which we saw. He's got power in his hands, mate. Power. And we saw that when he dropped Volk bad at the end of the second round.
It was a great fight.
I thought it was happening all over again. Volk. And this is the thing with Aussie fighters, which is just really unfortunate. They seem to have significantly worse chins than other nationalities. I don't know what it is, but
what is
maybe it's just the sun, the beach. I don't know. Too much alcohol. But
I don't think it's that. I think they just need to send 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. I think that's the main thing.
Send him 2 or 3 years Dagestan. That probably would help. But, Brazilian people, Mexican people, their chins are just off the hook. Hawaiian people.
I think it depends. I think Volk, just age. I think you see...
But he's been knocked out 3 times.
Yeah, because of age. He's an older fighter.
I guess. But yes, anyway, great performance from Volk. Wins a unanimous decision. Becomes the first person over the age of 35 to win a championship below welterweight, I think, whichever, in the lighter weight class, which is pretty cool. Never been done before, and he probably cements himself as the greatest featherweight of all time. Obviously, there will be that asterisk with Ilya, but Ilya's a bit of a cat, so I don't know what to make of him.
Yeah, I think he's up there. I think the old school MMA fans
Up there.
No, I think he's definitely. I would pick him, but I'm saying that the old school MMA fans would pick guys like Aldo, maybe, or they go with an Aldo, but
Aldo,
because he ran the division for 11 years. So I mean,
he has too many losses though.
Yeah, but you could argue that similar to Volk, it was at the tail end of his career that he got all those losses. I mean, before Conor McGregor, he was the only guy in that division. I mean, he was the only thing.
But like Volk and Aldo are the same age, I'm pretty sure. Or Aldo might be 1 year older.
No.
They're similar.
Aldo's surely 40.
He's not 40.
He's 40.
I don't think so.
Well, no, I think it was just and the main thing that, just to reiterate what he said in his post-match interview with Joe Rogan, it was just to come back from
adversity
mentally.
is a privilege.
And it was great to hear him talk about how he just had to he just had to show resilience to not only, MMA fans, but to his family and to his daughters, and put that resilience on show and believe in himself and prove to himself that he could do it again. It was a great performance from him. I think he dominated the fight. He definitely looked better on the feet than Diego Lopez, which was a bit surprising for a couple of people. I think most people expected him, if he was going to win, he'd win in the clinch and on the ground game. But I thought he was stellar in all phases, and
yeah, and that's just going to be the question with Volk going forward. Is he's probably going to be better skill for skill than all these guys, but it's just, can he not get knocked out? Which is the same with Whittaker, to be honest. But yeah, the next fight,
slog gone.
The next,
you need to forget about it. It's like you bring up Whittaker in your sleep. You're just Whittaker.
So sad.
Interim champ.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, next up is probably Movsar Evloev, another Dagestani.
Did you just have a stroke?
What?
Did you just have I don't know what you just said. Did you
next up
you had a stroke?
Next up is Movsar Evloev.
Right.
That's his name.
Let me guess. Dagestan?
Yeah, he's like Khabib's cousin or something.
Oh, another one. How many cousins does this guy fucking have? It's got to be about a million.
They get to work, mate.
Yeah, they get to work. There's not much to do there, to be fair, apart from... there's a lot of wrestle. So there's a lot of wrestle. Everyone gets in on it. So, yeah, I think it's... Is he featherweight or...
Yeah, he's a featherweight.
Okay. I thought you were just bringing up could be cousin.
No, he's undefeated, pretty sure. He's beat Diego Lopez as well. But he hasn't looked great in his last couple fights, so... It's honestly a winnable fight for Volk, which is good. And then there's not really many other fights out there in featherweight for him because he's already beat everyone. Unless Ilya comes back, but he said he's never coming back. So
I've got a question for you. If he would have beat Islam in
Volk?
that fight, if that decision went his way, would he be in the conversation for the GOAT?
I'd say so.
Even after say he lost the next two times like he did. Do you think he'd still be considered?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't think he would be considered the GOAT, but I think he'd be right up there.
Okay.
Beating Islam. Islam is pound for pound number one fighter in the world.
Yeah, because
upper weight class.
When he looks back on his career, I think that will be the one thing that you're like, if he would have just done that, if the decision went his way just that one time, he could have been, known as probably the greatest of all time.
He could have, yeah. So, it's tough. I mean, no one... If you're a John Jones guy, you're a John Jones guy, and I don't think you're ever going to change. No. So, you're never going to sway those types of people. But skill-wise, he's definitely up there. And, I mean, beating Islam, no one has... Like, people have become double champ, but no one's beaten pound for pound number one upper weight class like that. I mean, I don't think Stipe was he was definitely up there, but I don't think he was number one when DC beat him.
Obviously, Alvarez with Conor.
Yeah, Alvarez, he's a scrub. I mean, that was just extremely lucky that he happened to have the belt at that time.
Yeah, it was very fortuitous. I mean, to be fair, Dos Anjos did pull out they were supposed to fight earlier than that, and Dos Anjos did pull out, so it's not really Conor's fault. But have you seen what he's been up to recently?
Conor?
Yeah. He's advocating for the people of Ireland.
He's trying to be Prime Minister,
Yeah,
isn't
trying to
he?
be Prime Minister.
I think he is retired now. So,
Yeah.
good stuff. Because he was even getting asked, and he was like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to come back. I was like, sick. So,
Yeah, I think that ship well and truly gone.
yeah, so he's trying to be a Prime Minister now. Now, if someone with that sort of history was the leader of my country, I don't know how I'd be feeling. Now, I love Conor McGregor, so I'm all for chaos, really. But if I was a level-headed citizen...
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't want someone with severe brain damage to be running your country.
And like a drug addict.
And look, he may not be wrong about some of the things that he's saying about immigration. I don't know. I'm not really into Irish politics or Irish... Yeah. I've never been to Ireland, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, he may not be wrong. But it's like, imagine Chuck Liddell became the president of the US. You'd have Donald Trump is president, but imagine if Chuck Liddell was the next president. How would you feel about the safety or like the running of
I don't know.
country?
There might be some unsanctioned fights in the White House, which would be entertaining.
Yeah,
he might book himself versus Chuck Liddell 10 times in a row. They just never stop fighting each other.
No. Yeah.
And
He'd get himself a lifetime contract at the UFC, just make himself the heavyweight, the title.
Chuck Liddell versus Tom Aspinall 8.
He's lasted 20 seconds every one of the last 7 fights.
If Chuck Liddell
Let's see if he can make a minute.
If Chuck Liddell did last 20 seconds, that would be an achievement. I don't think he would make it past 5. There's no way.
Oh god. Yeah, you just see you get Mike Tyson in the fucking in the UFC and they just fight Mike Tyson.
He just snap his ACL on the walk out to the ring. The Mike Tyson.
See how bad he had a fight, was it a couple years ago, Chuck? And
he looks
so slow.
His training footage his training footage from the camp. It literally looks like an old decrepit man like throwing punches, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm coming back, and I'm feeling so good."
Yeah, all the comments are like, "Bro, don't fight, don't stop."
Oh, I'm pretty sure that was Oscar De La Hoya that did that fight as well, which is funny.
Was he fighting Tito?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Tito wasn't great, but I mean, he could at least move.
Yeah,
he wasn't on a walker yet. He was still
he was
still moving around without the help of a cane. So.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Chuck Liddell. I'm sure he's doing well.
Yeah. So who would be the Australian guy? Like the decrepit Australian president?
Mark Hunt.
He's New Zealander.
Well, okay. There isn't really many old Australians, is there?
Not many. Yeah. It's more of
Anthony Mundine, if you go in boxing.
Yeah. Interesting one.
Because there hasn't been a long history of Australians in the UFC. Like Whittaker was probably the first guy.
Very recent. Well, yeah, I think that does it for us. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Is there any football?
We could do a bit of football. United are in the semis against... I mean, I don't want to talk about the
Harry
Premier
Maguire?
League. Harry Maguire. Great game. Did you watch it?
No.
Unreal.
I saw that they came back from... They scored 3 goals in the last...
5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
We were up 2-0. Then they came back to 2-2. Then extra time, they scored 2 goals. And then in the second half of extra time, we scored 3 goals in 5 minutes. One in injury time. Crazy stuff. But yeah, United and Spurs looking like they could get to the Europa League final, which is vibes. Very vibes. Spurs will definitely get in because they're playing Bodo Glimt.
But they suck.
They suck, but Bodo Glimt is Bodo Glimt. We're playing a tough... So we're playing Bilbao. And they've got a chance to... the finals in Bilbao. So,
do they have any good players?
Yeah, they got a couple.
Inaki Williams.
Yeah,
didn't he get transferred?
Did he? I don't know. They got one. They got the Williams, one of the Williams brothers at least. Yeah, they've got a good team, and they're going to be playing for a chance to get into play the final in the home city. So they're going to be fucking up for it. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one for United.
So it's, are they in? To Atletico Bilbao.
Yeah.
Are they in the same... They're not in the same place as Atletico Madrid. Wait,
That's probably the dumbest thing you've
that
ever
was
said.
dumb.
That's probably the dumbest.
Disregard
you said
that.
Kyle Kuzma would win most improved
Disregard that.
player. Okay, let's do some
Disregard
geography. Yeah. So
What is
would
so
Manchester
Bill Bowser
United
City?
FC and Chelsea FC be in the same place because they both have FC in it?
What does Atletico mean?
I think it's just athletic. So it's
Athletic Madrid. Okay.
yeah.
So Bill Bowser City.
Yes.
Is it okay?
And Madrid,
There you go.
funny enough, is also a city.
Well, I did realize that as soon as I said it.
Yeah.
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 But there's not many other clubs with Atletico in it.
Well, Spanish ones are.
But I think they're the only two, isn't there?
Well, maybe in the top flight, but there's probably a couple more down the track.
Anyway, so
Anyway.
we've established they're not in the same city.
No, that's the main thing. Yeah, don't get confused, listeners. That is a very confusing thing for
Champions League is semis happening soon?
Yeah, so Arsenal made it through against Madrid. I'm not actually 100% sure who's playing who, but PSG are through, Barca are through, and one other fucking team. Forgot the other team. But Arsenal fans obviously fucking hyped for it. Hopefully they lose, because I cannot stand Arsenal fucking winning that shit. That would be a fucking nightmare. That would be an absolute nightmare.
Inter.
Yeah, Inter. So, yeah, there's no chance I'd want Arsenal to win.
Wow.
So, yeah, hopefully they don't. And are
PSG good? I thought they were kind of shit.
I think they've kind of revolutionized themselves. They've been, in the past, they've obviously bought all the expensive players and, they've kind of been a money team, but they've kind of gone back to, just investing in the best French talent. And they've got all the best French youngsters, so they've kind of remodeled their team.
Surely Arsenal are favourites out of those four, though.
They'll be up there, and that's a scary thing. I think Barca will probably be the favourite, and that's the team. Are they playing Barca in the semis? Did you see?
Oh God, I don't think so. No, they're playing PSG.
Okay, yeah. So PSG probably up there as well. I think most people are writing off Inter, but Inter could pull off an upset. Yeah, four good teams. You just hope, like I said, Arsenal lose. And the Prem, yeah, there's nothing to chat about Liverpool winning it, so that's great.
Okay, wait, yeah. I was just checking if Bayern are going to win the Bundesliga.
Harry Kane finally wins the trophy.
Because
Well, it would be funny if Spurs won the Europa League this year when he's gone. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Thoroughly enjoyed the podcast today. Bit of NBA chat. Hopefully the Clippers, like we said earlier, the Clippers-Lakers can pull themselves out of where they are.
Come on the show.
That's the main thing.
Come on the show.
And yeah.
How did JJ Redick not get nominated for Coach of the Year, by the way?
Who got nominated?
Bickerstaff, Kenny Atkinson, and Ime Udoka.
Yeah. Yeah, it's harsh. But, I mean, they're just going to pick the teams that improve the most. So, not much you can do.
Hey, it's hard being a JJ Redick in today's world.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. It's tough to be JJ Redick. He's doing it, slumming it. He really is. Well, yeah, like I said, thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and like and subscribe. Peace.
Peace out.